All right, we are live. It looks like the chat is working. I have been jumping into a few of them before we got going here. Obviously, I am not happy. I am not happy about what happened. But before I jump into that, because I feel like that's going to dominate most of this, I do want to go over this top 10 because we got some pretty cool names up here in the top 10. And I will go over the tentative as it stands now before Tech is done. Standings. But Denny Hamlin, your winner, after he used up every car in the field. Tyler Reddick is second there. Probably had a good tire strategy if they had caught, one more caution. Martin Truex Jr. Had a really good car, probably could have won too, but he wasn't able to wreck as many cars as the winner. Kevin Harvick finishes fourth. Good run for him. That last caution cost him a couple spots. Looked like he was going to get second. Ty Gibbs gets a fifth. So that's a top three for Toyota. Then they got Kevin Harvick breaking it up here with fourth, then five and six. Christopher Bell finishing sixth. So five Toyotas in the top six. Pretty good day for them. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who had him on your bingo card for being the top running Chevrolet. But Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished the seventh, best of the Chevrolets. Harrison Burton finishing eighth for the Fords. Harrison Burton needed that run. Eric Jones. Nobody really talked about him all day today, but he finishes ninth, and he was running good the entire time. Chase Elliott, he needed that 10th place finish, and with this trouble in the playoffs, we'll see if that helped him at all. Bubba Wallace helps his case by finishing. And Eric Almirola, who I had picked as the underdog, never could get track position and finished 12th. Ross Chastain sort of gifted that 13th position there. So good run for all of those drivers, except for Denny Hamlin, who ran over everybody. Let's see. If you go to the playoffs as they stand now, William Byron is in first with 4 wins. Martin Truex Jr. Second. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, Christopher Buescher at plus 111. Then you've got Bubba Wallace. He's in right now in 15th, plus 26. Michael McDowell right now, the last man in at plus 17. First man out right now is going to be AJ Allmendinger minus 17. Daniel Suarez with that terrible, unfortunate circumstance at the beginning of the race finished 23rd. One of the few drivers who wasn't wrecked by Denny Hamlin in this race. Ty Gibbs, 28 points out in 19th. Alex Bowman, who was wrecked by, or at least assisted by Denny Hamlin there. He is minus 45 right now. And Chase Elliott minus 56. So helped him out a little bit, but not a ton there for Chase Elliott. But he is 56 points behind the deal there. So let's see here. Go to the chat, and I just wonder what you guys want to talk about. I do have a poll question up. Is Denny Hamlin the biggest hypocrite in NASCAR history? Undecided, so many to choose from. No and yes are the options. Right now, yes is 86, 7% undecided, and 7% say no. So I'll give 14%. We'll just make that a no. Let's see here. Napa Racing fan. Never seen so much controversy at Pocono. This is the first time I've remembered Pocono being quite this interesting myself as far as controversy goes. They've had some good races and some exciting finishes. But as far as just not only that, but you got the Austin Dillon situation as well, where he felt like Tyler Reddick should have gave him more room. Tyler Reddick was right there at the door. So depending on how you look at that one, like I feel like most people are going to agree with Tyler Reddick there, but you got that situation, and also the beginning of the race, the 15 car got cleaned out by what looked like to be the 38 of Todd Gilliland. So I don't know what was going on there, but a lot of people got cleaned out in this race. So that was interesting for sure. Tim Ray says Hamlin used up the top 5. I would agree with you there. Actions detrimental and hypocritical, says Napa Racing fan. Did anyone see Priest punch LaJoy in the car like Boyer did, Newman in the All-Star race a few years ago? I did not see that after the race. So I'm going to have to check up on that. So like I said, a lot of drama throughout the field, apparently. I love Pocono, and I'm glad this was a wild finish, top 10 favorite track. Yeah, I'm with you. I like Pocono too. And they actually showed a picture on Twitter earlier in the day from 2019, and they showed all the people that were parked on the infield. And it probably wasn't even 1/3 of the cars parked on the infield now. So a total sellout for Pocono. So good for them. And all those fans saw an exciting race. I don't think they liked the winner because, well, he got booed pretty heavily at a track that he normally actually got quite a few cheers at. So that was interesting. Now that my driver doesn't race and I don't have anyone to cheer for, I say bring it on. More of the chaos is provocated. So yeah, that's probably the best position to be sitting in. You don't necessarily have anybody to pull for. and you can just enjoy the poo show that came afterwards. Everything Ham Chucker says about others is a reflection of himself and his self-loathing, says Shah. So yeah, without a doubt, he he is definitely a hypocrite. There's no doubt about that at this point. Dev Finch, I am doing the live stream now. Let's see. Lord, I pray Hamchuck fails inspection. Please, oh Lord, amen. Jones P9 says Bumblebee. Yeah, that was pretty much a great day. At one point, you had him in ninth, and Noah Gregson was 11th. Not sure where Noah Gregson ended up. He got sort of shuffled there at the very end. Kyle Larson, by the way, with that damage from Denny Hamlin running him into the wall, finishes 20th. I wanted Harvick to win that deal so bad. Denny is a hack, but you got to give it to him. Says Stu Putty. Yeah, so he did what he had to do to win the race. I don't necessarily hate that. It's the fact that every time it gets done to him, he cries for months about it. He has an entire podcast dedicated to literally how much he cries when the exact same thing is done to him. So my issue with him is if you're going to do it, then just shut up when it gets done to you. And it will at this point get done back to him. If Mr. Hendrick took a strong stance on Ross Chastain, you better believe he's about to take a strong stance on Denny Hamlin, who didn't necessarily put a bumper to Alex Bowman, but he wrecked his other car too. He made sure he got close enough to Alex Bowman because he doesn't like him, and this is my take on it, my opinion. He got close enough to Alex Bowman when he saw Alex Bowman get in trouble to take the rest of the air off of his rear spoiler to make sure Alex Bowman finished himself off there. Shah says 30 seconds more on the caution, and Reddick might have beat Hamchuck. Possibly 10 seconds more. So the caution was another issue. They probably could have thrown that a lot faster. Let's see here. 10 seconds, 5 seconds. I don't know. I'm just mad, says Shad. Denny has actually wrecked Larson for both of his 2023 wins. That's a fair point, Napa. That is pretty much a fair point. Was I wrong, says Roofer. Says howdy from the Great White North. I said earlier that no one said Denny sucks. Now I know who really thinks Denny sucks. I don't think he sucks, but I think if you're going to drive like this, then don't complain about it when somebody else does it to you. And I was having fun with it earlier. C-Stoff, good to see you in here. Let's see here. Alex Doyle, and this is a reason Chase hooked him. He runs people way up the track on purpose. I don't necessarily have a problem with how he drives, okay? I have a problem with him complaining about it when it's done to him. If you're going to drive like that, don't sit there and bitch and moan about it when it happens to you. That's fine, except the 11 slammed him into the wall, says Napa Racing fan. Yeah, and the biggest lie about the whole situation was Hamlin saying, I never touched Kyle Larson. I was like, bro, we've got eyes and a TV. We watched you literally run up 5 grooves, door the ever-living piss out of him, and put him into the wall. What planet does Denny Hamlin think he lives on? He 100% just straight drove like Kyle Larson wasn't there. Hamlin is a jerk. Kyle Petty said it all, says Les J. Yeah, so Kyle Petty called him out. Kyle Larson this is the first time I've seen Kyle Larson actually be mad in an interview, and he called him out too. He said basically all of Denny's friends know that he has to be right all the time. So basically saying all of Denny's friends know he's a dick. So there you go. Denny Hamlin is not getting DQ'd this time. The same magic can't happen twice in a row at Pocono, says Napa. Dennis took the term dirt racer the wrong way, says Brian W. So what is your opinion on Denny and Kyle, says Stephen Emilio Jr.? Denny 100% just used him up. It wasn't even a racing move. He just drove through him like he wasn't there. And that's fine. You do what you got to do to win races. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is him crying about it. And then the interview afterwards, straight up lying, saying we didn't make contact, this, that, and the other thing. It's Kyle Larson's job to hold his line. Like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, he lives in this alternate reality that is beyond anything in Earth 2. Whatever. He's starting to believe his own bullshit is basically what I want to get to as far as that goes. If you would like to buy an Actions Hypocritical, if you're tired of drivers that say one thing and do another, there is the Actions Hypocritical t-shirt down there if you want to support the channel. He did it to Chase 3 times that night at the Coke 600, and on the 3rd time, Chase said screw it and hooked him. It's the oldest trick in the book. You basically wreck the guy without wrecking him. Yeah, that's for sure. Kyle Larson will pull the plug on NASCAR. Yee says William Wagaman, Hamchuck will never win a championship. Karma will not allow it. I mean, I don't know about that. It's just like if you're going to drive like that, drive like that. That's I don't necessarily have an issue with that, but don't sit there and cry about it when the same thing is done to you. He's crying about what Ross Chastain did to him, And what he did today was far more egregious. And what he did the other race when he beat Kyle Larson was far more egregious, in my opinion, than anything Ross Chastain did to him. Because Ross Chastain, in my opinion, just lost control of his car. Denny Hamlin just drove through Kyle Larson today like he wasn't there. Like it's so hypocritical. It is what it is. I'm mad. Big mad. Not even going to lie about it. HMS versus the 11. We will have revenge, says Bumblebee. Denny is a hack, says Donnie Love. Did Hamlin touch Bowman? I think he did slightly. I don't know if he touched him or not, but he definitely took the air off, and he definitely didn't cut him any slack like they said on TV. Like, oh, he was waiting on him, cutting him slack, doing as much. No, he wasn't. He doesn't like Alex Bowman, and when he saw Alex Bowman get in trouble, he took advantage of it, and he helped finish off what Alex Bowman has started. So it is what it is. Have never listened to Hamlin's podcast, so just quit listening. Don't give him your dime, says Brickyard Brickhead. You can't call for boycotts on YouTube, so I can't support that. Did Hamlin touch Bowman? I think he did slightly. I called it all week. Didn't he Pocono Hamlin? Yeah, so that's the other thing. He had a car good enough to win the race. I don't know if he necessarily had to drive like that. So it is what it is. And I don't know if Larson would have been mad or whatever, but after he hears the audio, because Larson's radio didn't say anything. So after he hears the audio of what the 11 and Chris Gayhart were saying about him after they wrecked him, I think he's going to be big mad about that. So I would expect some payback. Toyota wanted that 600 win at any cost, says William Wagaman. That could be part of it too. Denny Hamlin wants to be associated with that news cycle as well. Kyle Larson should have popped his tire when he slammed him under caution, says OJ and Toothpaste. I think Kyle Larson was so mad at that point that he wasn't even thinking about stuff like that. Being a Larson and a Toyota fan, I wasn't pleased with how Denny raced Kyle, says one wise guy. Yeah, look, I actually don't have anything against Denny Hamlin or anything like that. He just drove like a dick today, and I don't have anything against Toyota either. But if Denny Hamlin is going to drive like that, just shut up, man. Just cancel the podcast, be done with it, because it's all bullshit, and just stop talking and just accept your fate that if you're going to drive like that, they're going to drive you back like that, and we don't want to hear you cry about it when you get drove back like that anymore, ever again. Tired of it. I despise ham chuck so much, I may go Muslim and no longer eat ham. Nah, piggies are way too tasty, says Shah. Yeah, it's hard to give up. You could probably give up all pork, but then it comes to bacon. And when bacon comes into the mix, that's probably a hard one to give up. Brian W., he's on the bacon train. Bacon is the way, Shah, says Brian W. Denny Hamlin huffs his own farts, says Charlotte Ander. So Charlotte thinks Denny smells his own farts there. Old Dylan is pretty pissed at Reddick too, says T-Van. So I think there's more layers to that than that right there. I think Dylan, in his opinion, thinks Tyler Reddick should have gave him more room. But I also think it goes deeper than that. I think Austin Dillon is still mad that Tyler Reddick left RCR, and he's mad at the way he left RCR, not necessarily that he left RCR. So I think that frustration, it's kind of like when you're dating somebody and you do something simple and they just blow up at you. That's what I think happened right there. They were probably pretty good friends when they were racing there, had a pretty good relationship, and then Tyler Reddick left the way he left, which obviously RCR and Austin Dillon didn't appreciate. So I think that just boiled over today. I don't think that was about Tyler Reddick not giving him enough room there. I think it was a bigger picture. Plus, Austin Dillon has had a very frustrating season. Austin Dillon made the playoffs last year. He's made the playoffs more times in his career than he's missed them since they've had the playoffs. And then this happens. He's having a terrible year. Tyler Reddick leaves the way he left. So I think that was more than just Tyler Reddick not giving him room. But that's just my take on that. Brian W. But that being said, there's going to be plenty of memes about Austin Dillon being mad about something that essentially most people are going to deem was his fault again. I love seeing an old helmet toss today. More of that, please, says Brian W. Yeah, I loved it. I love the fight, and I like the fact that Austin Dillon said, I'm just going to start wrecking people. So there you go. Just bought 2 Actions Clown shirts, one for me and one for my dad. We both hate him, says OJ and Toothpaste. I appreciate you. There's nobody on that T-shirt, by the way. That's just a fictional character with a clown. That's just a fictional clown there. That's not any person in particular. So there you go. No problem, OJ. Appreciate it. Austin took a hard hit, says Donnie Love. Yeah, that was pretty much a significant hit. But shout out to the new car. The new car seems to be handling these hits better because there's nowhere. I don't think there's very many places that hit quite as hard as Pocono. So good on NASCAR for getting the car where it needs to be safety wise. I would like to meet Denny. Offer to handshake, then pull away and say "psych," says Shah. or hit him with the old Stone Cold salute if you wanted to. And here's the deal with Denny Hamlin. Like in person to the fans, he's actually super nice to the fans. I'm just talking about on track and what he says when people wreck him. I'm not talking about interactions with him because I've heard stories and I know people that know Denny Hamlin that they can tell you really great stories about how he is. He's reaching out, doing very similar things to like what Joey Logano does and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty. It's one of those weird situations. He's not necessarily a bad guy, but he is definitely a hypocrite. There's no doubt about it that he's a hypocrite. That's what I'm saying. I don't have anything necessarily against him, but I'm mad today because I am a Larson fan. So I'm not going to sit here and lie about that. Hamlin even complained about Harvick racing him too hard. I mean, so there you go. Like, there you go. It's the duality of Hamlin. That's what we're talking about here today. Stephen Emilio Jr. Laughing my butt off. BB, you are a homer. Poor Kyle. I'm not a fan of Denny. I am a homer, but I'm admitting it when I'm a homer. No doubt about that. I'm not a Denny fan. I'm a Ford through and through. Says Stephen Emilio Jr. Dang, Austin D wrecks a lot of cars. Says Shaw. Well, I guess get ready for that number to go up because now he's going to do it on purpose, I guess. Brian Kidder, Ryan Preece showed why he's not ready for the Cup Series again. I'd like to hear their radio conversations and suspensions if confirmed. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. Nobody's gotten in trouble for throwing fists yet after the race ends, only for like making contact with the cars on pit road. That's the only thing. So I don't know if he'll get one, but it'll be interesting to keep part of. What did Gabe Hart and Denny say? I'll have to look it up. I don't want to misquote them, but I remember I know Clint Daniels took exception to it. So I can't go word for word. I'll have to pull all that stuff up, and I will in the regular show. I was on board. If anybody knows or can paraphrase it, feel free to paraphrase it down below. But I don't want to misquote it on here. I was on board with Harvick, and he was right behind Hamlin and Larson. No question, Hamlin took Larson out. He should be DQ'd. Larson should have smashed Hamlin's left rear under that yellow, says Ronald Russell. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I probably would have. So he showed great restraint there. I'd rather watch the Barbie movie than the end of that race again. This is an Napa racing fan. Well, the end of that race was more like probably like the ending of the Oppenheimer movie than it was the Barbie movie. So I'll throw that in there because it was a total disaster for me and who I was pulling for. Shaw's laughing. Kyle Busch has no chance at the championship. His team is way too inconsistent, says Dead End Viper. I don't know that his team is inconsistent, aside from the fact that he smoked the wall like 4 times, coming off of 3 or 4, whatever you want to call it. Like every time he came off that coming to the start-finish line, it seemed like he smoked the wall. So I think he kind of did it to himself today because at times he had the track position in this race. I missed the radio on Hamlin. Can you please explain? They basically said that the 5 car should have stayed in his lane. I'm just paraphrasing, but somebody else, if you remember the quote, they basically were blaming everybody but themselves after they just straight like took out Kyle Larson. And Kyle Larson's radio was radio silent until Clint Daniels came on and told Kyle Larson that he's going to be mad when he hears what Denny Hamlin had to say. And they're supposed to be friends. So if Denny Hamlin will do that to his friends, it is what it is. I don't think Kyle Larson is super happy. And Kyle Larson was not happy in that interview because he kind of went off on him. And I'll have that interview in the regular show as well. I don't want to paraphrase. I don't want to get anybody wrong with what they said, basically. Bacon is just too good. Just not Smithfield, says Brickyard Brickheads. The anti-Amarola campaign from Brickyard. Or maybe you don't like where it's manufactured. I've seen both of those. John Williams, now you all know Denny is always right. Just ask Freddie. He'll say that all door and bumpers were cleared, says John Williams. Y'all don't see it, says Stupid Roofer. John Williams, door bumper clear is a Denny love fest most of the time anyway, for sure. And that's the thing. There's several people that are friends with Denny Hamlin, and they support him at all costs. Thought the 41 spinning in the media, in the mainstream media, I should say, out of the late caution. I should have thrown it quicker. Yeah, I do agree with that one, wise guy. When he spun, they had thrown the caution pretty quickly, in my opinion, all day. They probably should have stayed consistent with that. But at the end of the day, they had to throw it when they threw it because he couldn't get it fired back up and going. Throw your driver helmets at the like button, says Brian W. Yes, if y'all want to hit the like button, it would be much appreciated. Will Austin get fined for saying he was going to wreck people now? That's a good question. He definitely communicated that. So that could be one of those deals where you catch one. That's a good point, one wise guy. I'll have to look at the precedent on that. I don't know if they've proactively done it for somebody saying that they're going to start wrecking people. But he'll definitely probably get a little trip to the hauler for saying that. I know that. Dead End Viper, I agree. KB will have a real problem in the playoffs. He has to come back from the way back almost every race. Yeah, but and I don't necessarily disagree that they're inconsistent. They're definitely off at short tracks, and they know that. But today, I'm just saying today, he ran into the wall several times, and actually last race, he took himself out too. So he's pushing a little too hard. Sometimes he just needs to do what the car will do, because you saw what Austin Dillon was doing before he was wrecked. He was actually in the top 10, or before he wrecked himself, depending on how you look at it. Like in my opinion, he did chop off Tyler Reddick. But you can make the argument that Tyler Reddick maybe should have gave him more room there. So whichever side you want to take on that. But he was top 10 when that happened. But Dillon hasn't learned from Denny's example. Don't say you're going to wreck them, just do it, says Robin Mark. So there you go. When it comes to wrecking, follow that Nike thing and just do it. Don't talk about it. Can we talk about Penske choke today, September race? We can talk about Penske choking today. Had two of the fastest cars in Ryan Blaney, who apparently lost an engine or something like that. They never really came back and said what was wrong with Blaney. And then, of course, Joey Logano, he got caught up in that deal back there, high-sided the car, and then when they did more damage towing it back than he did in the actual wreck itself. That's intentional, if you ask me, says Tommy Norwood. The eternal hypocrite, Denny Hamlin. Why wreck a guy when you have a car that could win, says Philip Combs. That's what I'm asking. For as much as he complains about people driving clean, he had a car that was probably at least very capable of winning this race. Didn't even try to race clean for the win. Just doored the and that was that. I was okay with the late caution. Either way, the race is over. They tried to let it go to checkers naturally. Yeah, it's a judgment call at the end of the day, but they made the right call. When they threw the caution, they had to throw it. There was you can't put Ryan Preece in danger right there. So I do agree with that, but they could have thrown it much earlier, and we could have had another 2-lap shootout, which would have made it more interesting for fuel mileage and stuff like that. But it's a judgment call at the end of the day. Denny Hamster should be put into the wall, says Mr. B. I hate to say it, but Bowman isn't making the playoffs or winning in 2023, says Napa Racing fan. Well, I will say this. I think one of the Hendrick cars is definitely going to miss the playoffs. I think the other one, I don't know which one it's going to be, but I think one of them will make the playoffs and one of them will miss. Okay, let's talk about tires. Go flat. The high car is center. That's just ridiculous. How are you not bottoming out while driving? Because when the tires have air in them, they've got the bump stops for ride height, so that you never bottom out because they got the bump stop set. But the tires are have such a low profile, and they can't do run flats because run flats are apparently super hard to make a race tire out of or something like that. Somebody explained it to me at one point, but they can't do run flats. So yeah, but because the side, you've only got this much sidewall, whereas back in the day you had that much sidewall. So your bump stops don't save you anymore like they used to. Long story short, go get him, Ross. Says Camaro 50. Chase is still Watkins Glen or bust. Says Napa Race fan. Could be like that. That could be the difference maker there. Chase the chase and misses it. Chase chases the chase and misses it. Says Shy. Even Truex said then he used up the 5. That's what I'm saying. That's why I like Martin Truex. He keeps it as real as you can keep it. Truex is the only decent racer Gibbs has, says Shy. I think Christopher Bell's pretty good. So I think Truex and Christopher Bell are really good. I think Denny Hamlin's a really good race car driver, and I think Ty Gibbs will be a really good race car driver. People just don't happen to like two of those drivers' personality, and Bell you can go either way on, but I think everybody, for the most part, likes Truex. Don't forget Bell knocked Larson where he went into the wall earlier. Says Napa Racing fan. That's a fact. I forgot about that because I'm just recency bias. I'm thinking about the most current Joe Gibbs wreck from this particular race. But yeah, the 20 did, but the 20 at least. So here's the opposite reactions, right? The 20 immediately apologized and said that's my fault. He was upset with himself that he had done that to Larson. The 11 car immediately blames Kyle Larson and takes the victim role. So once again, the duality of a race car driver. And Denny Hamlin, of course, Kyle Larson said in his interview, this part I do remember, that Denny Hamlin never thinks he's wrong. Even his friends know that. Wreck to win makes NASCAR look like a joke. Good racing hamster, said Mr. B. Or a Clint Boyer on our Ryan Newman. So there you go. Hamlin, habitual offender, almost identical to the Chastain incident, says Ron Arch. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's like absolutely hypocritical. Ryan Priest, don't do that. So there you go. Ryan Priest needs to don't do that to himself, because apparently he punched somebody who was sitting in the car. I forget who he punched up here. It was mentioned earlier, but apparently Ryan Priest punched somebody sitting in their car earlier. So Ryan Priest, don't do that. That meme's going to come back this week too. Brickyard Brickhead, even with Xfinity Cup cars, NASCAR is going back to being inconsistent. When the yellow was thrown yesterday, NASCAR was waiting for the 8 to be ahead, but it didn't happen, says Brickyard Brickhead. Yeah, so once again, if you're not consistent with the yellow flags, you're going to lose a lot of people. Michael McDowell is the one that cost Logano again. That's already twice this year. Oh, yeah, so it was Michael McDowell behind him. That's for sure. I did remember that because he was driving the green car. I was like, who's driving that green car? Because there were 2 green cars. One was Gilliland and one was Michael McDowell. And so Michael McDowell was the one that got into Logano. The third time he's caused the big accident this year, and the one that caused the accident at Daytona. So good way to catch up there, Stephen D'Amelio Jr. Appreciate that. Denny Hamlin is the kind of guy who farts in an elevator because he believes everyone else will enjoy it, says Lion and Lamb. So there we go. More roasting Denny Hamlin. Ron Arts with a double thumbs up to that one. Stephen D'Amelio Jr. says, and why the hell did they drag Donald all the way around the track? That's Logano all the way around the track. That's a good question. He did bring up a good point in his interview where he said maybe the tow trucks carry a couple of tires on there to put a couple of tires on the cars so that the cars, they can just change the tire right there and then the car can drive back to pit road. So that might be something NASCAR can look at the end of the day. Low profile tires are for children and nerds, says Shah. MB says, send it and use 8 wheels, says Denny Hamster, yet don't touch my bumper. That's the way he rolls. Sidewall, it's going to be interesting to see what he says on Actions Hypocritical. God, now I'm saying Actions Hypocritical. It's going to be interesting to see what he says on his podcast, Actions Detrimental. Sorry about that. Why is everyone so pissed off? I don't get it. I'm not a Denny fan, but we all know that he will be cheered in his retirement year. Says Stupid Roofer. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Let's see. Lose the stupid skid plate underneath, says Shah. That's probably the biggest problem. They have removed one of the blocks. They've removed the left rear block, and they've shaved down the whatever you want to call those things, the little blocks. They've shaved them down about 2 inches, I guess, if I'm remembering correctly. But still, that's what's holding the car up, and that's why it gets high-sided. Never will I ever cheer for Denny, says Shah. So there you go. I think I really doubt that there's going to be a lot of people cheering for Hamlin at the end of his career. I'm sick of the same spot because the end of his career can only be like 5 or 6 more years from now, in my opinion. So I don't know. I don't know if people are going to have time to forget by then. So we'll see. I'm sick of the same spot. What happened and seeing the 47 layback and hurt Chase on a bad restart. Yeah, so there was a lot of games being played on restarts. No doubt about that. Sooner he leaves, the better, says Shah. So there's definitely a lot of Denny hate in general here, not just from Larson and Bowman fans today. What do you think they'll do about the wrecker and the 22 damage, says one wise guy. I think Logano was onto something with carrying a couple tires on the wrecker and maybe just have the guys change the tires right there and send them back. Now, they don't have to be race tires, just a couple of tires to get them up off the racetrack. Or something like that, so that the driver couldn't continue in the race. Like they would have to change the tire or something like that. Of course, Hamlin plays the victim. He does have Bubba Wallace as a driver. After all, says David Griffith. Not going to touch that one. Hey, BB, I'm late. Hamlin is what he is. I got question. Did the run that test at New Hampshire? I haven't heard. The New Hampshire test got rained out, so they're going to run it at Richmond. Or because of the rain in the area or whatever, they're going to run it at Richmond. So they'll run it this weekend or this Monday. Not this Monday. They'll do it the Monday after the Richmond race. There we go. Let me get my stuff together here. I can't wait for the playoffs so I can watch Hamlin not win a championship again, says Jim Bennett. They didn't run the test, Roger, says MB. Just remember that Truex said about Logano after Martinsville. He won the battle, but he won't win the war. What happened? Logano won the championship. Same could be said here. Hope not, though, says Napa Racing fan. Well, yeah, the only way to make sure somebody doesn't win a championship is to take them out during the championship race. So unless you got a set on you, I doubt anybody's going to do that. But you can take them out before in the playoff rounds, and that probably wouldn't be hit quite as bad. I bet Bowman and Hamlin. Let's see here. Not surprised with Hamlin. Hope Larson just keeps doing to him. I haven't seen Larson that mad before. Richmond would be a great place to leave Hamlin no room. Hey, so there you go. I mean, Richmond coming up is what it is. Get Bowman and Hamlin line up on the grid together next week. Oh, that would be interesting. One wise guy. I lost your comment there. I had to scroll back and find it. They ran the test at Richmond. They're going to run the test at Richmond the Monday after the Richmond race. They haven't run it yet, so they're still. We still don't know about the reverse front splitter or whatever they're doing here. Hamlin's head seems to be in a different place since starting his race team, says David Griffith. I don't ever want to hear Denny Hamlin complain about how another driver races him for the rest of his championshipless career, says Kim Bodges. So there you go. And I'm going to pump it one more time, then I'm going to leave it be. But there you go. There's the Action Hypocritical t-shirt. That is the link to the exact t-shirt. You don't have to go through anything else. And that's the last time I'm going to push it here. But let's see here. I'm not surprised with, let's see here. Ryan Newman will be back at Richmond, says Art NASCAR. So, yeah, that's cool. It looks like Ryan Newman's going to get a bunch of starts here with Rick Ware Racing. So, hopefully that can continue, especially when Justin Haley comes on board. I'd love to see Justin Haley and Ryan Newman, especially if Rick Ware is getting serious about building that team back up. In my comment about Michael McDowell causing an accident, the Daytona 500 was the one that caused the year he won. Look at the video. Video don't lie, says Stephen D'Amelio Jr. I mean, that's probably accurate because that's where that damage, if you've got the race win car, he's got the damage. That's where the damage came from in that one. Hey, Donnie, what were the results? Okay, got him, says Roger Riggs. I've been Denny neutral, but that move put me over the line, says Sonny V. Yeah, he just cleared him out. And then the fact that he said it's Kyle Larson's fault, he should have held his line. That's when I started getting a little warm under the collar. Because I was like, look, it's a racing move. He was going to do what he had to do to win the race. I was going to throw a couple jabs in about, Action's hypocritical. But then he literally just gave me the gold mine. If I never touched Kyle Larson, he should have held his groove. I was like, bro, what are you talking about? So that's when I was like, there's no defending it. Just Denny Hamlin's in the wrong today in every possible way. He was in the wrong for just driving through him. He was in the wrong for the comments he said on the radio, and he's in the wrong for the comments he said when he got out of the race car. So just any way you look at it, Denny Hamlin's wrong, and I don't necessarily have anything against Denny Hamlin, but he's wrong today. There's no doubt about it. Thoughts on Kyle Busch's retirement plans and his latest 100 win in trucks? Well, people are acting like this is the first time he said it. He said it when he signed with RCR, that a big part of signing with RCR is because he knew Brexton would probably have a place to go because he kept his truck team running. So yeah, he definitely wants to get Brexton as far in his career as he can get Brexton. And when he thinks Brexton is good, he's going to go and race trucks and get that truck championship, so he can be like Thanos or whatever and get the whole set, get all the rings. Noah didn't wreck. When, says Robin Marks. Yeah, so Noah Gregson did not wreck. It was actually at one point 2311, or not 2311, but Legacy Motor Club had both cars in the top 11. First time I'd seen that all year. I forget who spun and hit the fence when it was done. I was like, oh, the tires did not blow, and I thought, sure as crap, boom, there went the tires blowing. Larson was so mad. Dang, says Josh Kruger. Yeah, that's the angriest I've ever seen Kyle Larson. And even when he was angry, he was he was pretty chill about it. It was casual jabs, but they were cutting, casual but cutting. I know it's tough to admit. Says let's see here. I know it's tough to admit, says Stupid Roofer. Like, bro, you said that, and then you finished second to him at Homestead. He wouldn't have made it halfway if I was in that race car, says Alex Doyle. So, yeah, there you go. Larson should be mad, says Shaw. Josh Kruger says, I agree. But, yeah, I'm with you, Alex Doyle. You can't say that and then not wreck the guy. So, it is what it is. But to be fair, Martin Truex Jr. typically doesn't wreck people on purpose. So, probably when he thought about it later, and I think he even admitted that, he wished he hadn't have said it. Mark's poor Noah. Robin Marks, poor Noah, says, Shy, changing tires on track. What? If you don't remember the Keystone Cops, you'll soon find out. What if a safety crew has a bet? Says Brickyard Brickhead. Well, I mean, no system is perfect, but really what would be good is if they would just fix the damn car so they would stop getting high-sided. That would probably be the best fix there. Denny is lucky. Larson is a happy elf most of the times, says Robin Marks. Rubbing is racing, I guess, is what Bob Doyle says. Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Bob Dole. But also, when Denny Hamlin gets rubbed, he cries about it for at least a solid week. So that's actually what we're talking about. I said numerous times at the beginning of this, I guess you missed it. I said, I don't have a problem with what he did. I have a problem with the fact that he cries about it every time it is done to him. Helmet throwing should be a part of the next All Star race challenge competition, says Kim Bogus. Bogus, I messed it up again. Anyway, yeah, so we'll get the helmet throwing in there in the next one. Getting one of those shirts, says MB. Denny Hamlin is just wrong. Like in Denny Hamlin is just wrong. Rolling on the floor, laughing my ass off. Says Shaw. I remember him saying it when he signed with RCR. Says Josh Krieger. Yeah. So I don't understand why all of a sudden it became like a big news story. Like he said it several times, but I don't know. I guess the media just paid attention to it. The mainstream media just paid attention to it this week. What is up, Bologna Burger? And how is your day going? Says Dawson Fair. I've had better days. My guy just got taken out for a win. So I've had better days. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. If you were like Denny, there would be something wrong with you. LOL. A clown hamster, but clown hamster, says MB. I can see Martin or Denny winning next week too. Oh, for sure, dude. Martin Truex is on fire right now. That's probably the one thing that's going to be missed in this. Martin Truex is absolutely on fire right now. And I'll tell you another guy who's actually, he's not going to do anything playoff-wise or anything like that. But Eric Jones, if you look at Eric Jones' finishes the last 4 or 5 weeks, he's had some really good finishes for a team that started off really poorly. Hamlin keeps it interesting, says David Smith. Oh, without a doubt. Like, without a doubt. Like, if Denny Hamlin wasn't in the sport, we wouldn't have nearly as many interesting things to talk about. So I'm not hating on the guy. I'm just hating on one aspect of what he did today and then how he reacts to it when it's done to him. That's the only thing I'm really hating on. I don't hate him as a driver, as a person, or anything like that. I just hate the hypocrisy that he unleashes from time to time. Or every week, depending on your point of view. Is Hamlin the least popular driver in NASCAR now? It was like KFB, Logano, and Keselowski. Now it seems like Hamlin and Wallace are the most disliked. Just flip a coin. It depends on the racetrack. I think for the next several weeks, it's going to be Denny Hamlin. So we'll have to see how it plays out. I don't have a problem with Denny wrecking somebody like he did. I think it's just racing, but he's the person that will cry just because he gets wrecked, says Nathan Urich. That's where I'm at with it. I don't necessarily care that he did that, but if you do that, be consistent about it. Don't cry about it when somebody does it to you. So it is what it is. NASCAR safety crews can barely. There is a poll question up if you want to vote on whether or not he is the biggest hypocrite in NASCAR history. Yes, no, or there's so many to choose from. I can't decide. NASCAR safety crews can barely do anything, let alone change tires, says Shaw. That's a fair point. There's a viral video of a guy going to put out a fire and he falls down with a fire extinguisher. My dad can't stand Denny Hamlin, says Dawson Fair. A lot of people are in that boat. Someone said Denny didn't get 50 career wins by accident. I agree. He needed way more than one accident to get there, says Corey Wilson. Hey, there you go. That's a pretty good one, man. I thought I was watching on Earth 2 race for a second with Ty Dillon running in second place. That was a pretty interesting ending to that stage or whatever was going on when that happened. It was pretty insane. Safety crew cleaning truck has a box cover, so they throw crap in the cab. What the heck, says Shah. He threw that in the cab because he was like, that's going to be some memorabilia for his man cave somewhere, probably. That's what I'm thinking. Justin Haley leaving colleague racing early, says says Dev Finch. Yeah, I guess he left him with a parting gift here today. I've seen the safety crew baffled by a fire extinguisher, says Shaw. So he's referring to the same thing I'm talking about earlier. Listen while I wash my car and do a headlight restoration kit. You got me dying laughing, be me. Cartman and Windy Voice, boohoo, Denny Hamlin, says say Kyle. Can Harvick get his last win before it's all over? I was hoping it would be today because when he was in second place, I was like, oh, can he pull it off? But it wasn't to be today. What happened to Joey Logano and Daniel Suarez in today's race? They got basically involved in wrecks, Dawson Fair, so they wrecked out. Joey Logano did at least win a stage before he was taken out. And neither one of the wrecks, I think, were necessarily their fault. They were just caught up in other. Joey Logano's was situational, and Daniel Suarez was caught in the accordion effect, if I remember correctly. It might have been the same wreck, but I can't remember. And there you go, says Stupid Roofer. At least Kyle Petty had the to speak the truth as an announcer. He's like, I don't blame Hamlin for doing what he did. You got to do what you got to do to win, but I don't respect it. And that's probably the best way to put it. So Kyle, and I'm paraphrasing Kyle Petty. That's not word for word what he said, but it's pretty close in my opinion, if I'm remembering correctly. Hamlin is like the kid you're beating at a video game before it's over, and they get up and turn off the console. and then say you didn't win, says JFB 48. That's probably a pretty fair statement. Or they turn around and start running backwards. And I know there's a NASCAR channel that does that, but there's other people that do that too. No way Truex could pass up that next piece of paper put in front of him. The sign says Brickyard Brickhead. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Truex comes back. He's doing things at such a high level right now. It would be hard to watch him retire. Dirtbag Denny, don't disappoint, says Craig Sowers. I got it. You know who Denny reminds me of? Major Frank Burns from MASH, Ferret Face. So there you go. I am not from. I know what MASH is, and as a little kid, I watched it, but I can't remember too much from MASH, other than the lady was called Hot Lips, and that analogy was lost on me until I got older. I'm just hoping Haley is okay. That one was bad and ugly. The one he had was ugly. God, I can't read today. Yeah, he definitely took a lick too, and I think his was driver's side, but he immediately put the window net down, so hopefully he's okay. Hopefully Austin Dillon's okay too, because we know sometimes these concussions and stuff like that don't show up until later. So hopefully both of those dudes are okay, because they both took some pretty nice licks. Austin Dillon had the YouTube in-car camera today too, so you can watch his lick that he took. Harvick is the closer. I predict he wins the last race of the year, says Shaw. That would be really cool. That would be really cool, especially if it concludes with a championship if he's in the Final Four. Have to run, but enjoy your videos. Have a great night. Appreciate you, David Griffith. Denny, as much as I dislike him, the master at Pocono, says Stupid Roofer. Denny today was like Billy when he forced Earl to choose over his list. Both hypocrites, says Napa Racing fan. Nobody is even close, says Roofer. Did you hear David Land say Joseph Newgarden swept both IndyCar races at Iowa Speedway? I haven't been able to check up on any of that yet, but pretty cool that Newgarden got it done there. Roofer, you mean master of wrecking people at Pocono 2 straight years now. The Suarez Squirrels comment was hilarious. JFB saying Joseph Oval Newgarden is winning all the oval races this year. 1 to go at Gateway for all 5. Dirt Denny, do not trust him. Dirty Denny, do not trust him, says Shy. It's been a while since I've been this frustrated at the end of a race. If he'd own it and just be the heel, it wouldn't be half as bad. We'll hear an hour of BS on his show. Big Time says that's my issue with it. Like, just say that I wanted to win the race and he was in my way. Just say it. Just say it, man. Just say it. Trust him to be dirty, says Shy. And I can't wait. I actually can't wait to see, which is probably his master plan. He's like, yes, they must listen. But I can't wait to see what he's got to say about it after the fact, because I'm sure he's going to sit here and think about the proper thing to say all night to try to get his ass out of this situation. Let's see. LaJoy got punched in his car, Lake Speed style, says Robert Stone. So it was Corey LaJoy that got punched. So I have to check that one out. Major Burns was a weasel, just like Denny. Little beady, shifty eyes, sneaky brown noser, and a hypocrite. And Ryan Fussner saying Dennis the Menace. So I'll stay on here for just a few more minutes. Then I'll get back to working on the video. Throw in your last comments, or else I'll just dip out now. We'll see here. Bruce Carvey, best part of racing today, watching Lando Norris wrecking Verstappen's trophy was hilarious. So there you go. I didn't catch that because basically I did not wake up early enough. Orange County was a long day yesterday and Friday as well. This channel is great, says Dev Finch. I appreciate you, Dev Finch. Let's see. Has betting got in the way of NASCAR finishes, says Brickyard Brickhead? You'll never know until it gets found out. So you'll never know. You'll never know. It's just so hard to say. But it's not going anywhere. It's too much money to be made off of legalized betting now. So it is here to stay, in my opinion. Who's your favorite for Richmond? I'm going to go out on a limb and pick Kevin Harvick to win Richmond, just without looking at any stats or anything. I'm just feeling like Kevin Harvick, maybe Kyle Larson, Richmond win. Have a good one, BB. Catch you on Tuesday, bud. I'll catch you there, wise guy. Roofer said yes. Hamlin Hamlin did not do anything. All the drivers do. Snowflakes, says Keith Risk. I would counter that with maybe what he did actions wise, but then he runs his mouth like nobody's business. There's nobody in the sport that cries as much as Denny Hamlin when it gets done to him, what he just did to these other people. That's the difference. Like I said, I don't necessarily have a problem with what he did on the racetrack, but it's when he gets done to him, he runs his mouth for a solid week. So I think that's the difference that most people are talking about here. Hamlin won't win Richmond, says Napa Racing fan. There's probably a good chance he might get some payback from somebody there. Chris Busher gets his 15th straight top 20 finish today at Pocono Raceway, I believe, says Dawson Fair. I can't wait for Daytona, says Dev Finch. Shaw says peace. Owls rock. So Harvick will get one for sure. Racing Gods will command it. I hope so. I hope so, Robin Marks. No 16 straight top 20 finishes, says Dawson Fair. Snowflake, what year is it? Says Stupid Roofer. I guess Hamlin officially won. The NASCAR app just updated points. All right, so there you go. Looks like Hamlin made it through tech, and he is good. Owls or shooters, says Shaw. Work it out on the pickleball court. There you go. They'll just have a pickleball off. Next time they have a debate or anything like that, go play some pickleball. I don't even what is pickleball? Is that like a new? I mean, I know it's not a new sport. I guess it's gained popularity. Good grief, says Shaw. I gotta be YouTube friendly. Sorry, Shaw. It's crazy what you can and can't say, but it is what it is. Yeah, exactly. I'll say it for you, and then I'll dip out. You're going to give me the yellow mark, but it is what it is. Hooters. There you go. I said it. All right, I'm late, but not covered. What was the BS holding the caution at the end of the race? Yeah, just inconsistency. You're on it, Mark Martin fan for life. Truex next week says Stupid Roofer. But yeah, they've been inconsistent with the cautions since NASCAR began. All right, I appreciate it. I'll catch y'all on the next one. It was fun as always. Peace.